On today's Locked On Bama, we're going to just continue to talk recruiting because unbelievably, July has been an incredible recruiting month. Not necessarily for Alabama, but for just teams all over the country, Miami specifically. Alabama was in on a couple of guys that were making announcements today. Did they get them? Spoiler alert, no. But there's a guy they should get sometime soon that Jimmy and I have been discussing for a while. So we're going to talk about that and more on today's Locked On Bama.
You are Locked On Bama, your daily podcast on the Alabama Crimson Tide. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, everybody, and welcome back into Locked On Bama. Luke Robinson, that's me. Jimmy Stein, that's him. Jimmy, how are you today?
Good. Busy recruiting month.
Yeah, it is a busy recruiting month, and not, again, as I said, I mean, it's busy for Alabama in that look, with Nick Saban, it's always going to be busy. But a couple of commitments today. Kaleb Jackson, running back out of Louisiana. He, no shock, selects LSU. I think they're getting a good one. I like him a lot. And then Raul Aguirre, depends on which way you want to go, tomato. He has committed to Miami. And, Alabama was in on both these guys. If you want to be a glass half full guy, then you'll say, hey, maybe this means Alabama feels very good about some other guys they're in on. If you're a glass half empty guy, then you're kind of like, what's going on here? Because the recruiting news has been more bad than good lately. Which glass do you own, Jimmy?
I prefer to state with facts. Unfortunately, even in the recruiting industry, it's very difficult to know everything. You don't get to interview about what's going on. You do get to interview the player on occasion. You don't. A lot of times the whole story is not our business, frankly. But I suppose people out there just want to be. If you want to be miserable, Kaleb Jackson chose LSU over Alabama. Raul Aguirre chose Miami over Alabama. Sucks. Recruiting sucks now. Saban's too old. If that's how you want to go ahead and believe all that, but I don't believe it. Not because because I don't believe any of it is factually correct. I don't believe that. That Kaleb Jackson was not committing to Alabama today because he didn't have that option. That's what I believe. I believe Raul Aguirre Alabama is interested in two other inside linebacker prospects and taking Aguirre, not getting one of the two higher ranked guys. That's what I believe, and it's not necessarily because I'm just choosing to be an optimist. That's what I believe. Based that's kind of sometimes all we can do is piece it together. But piecing it, that's what I believe. So I don't really think Alabama lost. I think by the time recruiting is over, Alabama will have a running back like Richard Young. I think Alabama will have linebackers like Suntarine Perkins, Malik Bryant committed. And these guys, that's the case. If Alabama fails to assign a running back or an inside linebacker, come back at me later, down the road. But today, that's what I believe.
All right, Jimmy, I'm going to go ahead and tell everybody about Rock Auto. But while I'm doing that, I want you to do me a favor. I want you to log out and log back in because I don't know if this is the case for everybody, but your voice and your mouth movements are about a second and a half apart. And so, for at least for me, so either you're the world's slowest ventriloquist or there's some kind of bad connection. So I'm going to let you log out and log back in while I tell everybody about this.
To be in one of those Godzilla movies from the 50s. Okay.
All right. I'm going to tell everybody about Rock Auto. Look, you need to go check out Rock Auto ASAP. This place is awesome is this episode is brought to you by Rock Auto. And with ever increasing numbers of makes and models, it's now impossible for your local chain auto parts store to stock all the parts you need. Why endure the often pointless or seemingly intimidating questions like, is your Honda Odyssey an LX or an EX or a DMX or whatever, and wait while the person behind the counter orders the parts on their computer, choosing the only brand their warehouse happens to carry. You have computers with access to rockauto.com at home and in your pocket. Save time and money when using Rock Auto. Why choose to spend 30, 50, even 100% more for the same parts from a chain store or from a car dealership? Example, that same Honda Odyssey fuel pump, $353 from a chain store, $216 from Rock Auto. Go to rockauto.com. Amazing selection, reliably low prices, all the parts your car will ever need. Rock Auto. Also want to tell you which NFL stars moved the betting line the most. Starting July 18th, Locked On gives you the 50 most valuable players in the NFL from the odds makers at Bet Online. This is going to be very cool. Available July 19th on Locked On NFL, wherever you get your podcast and YouTube. That is going to be a lot of fun. Go check that out. That is Locked On NFL on July 18th. It'll tell you which NFL stars move the betting line the most. And I think we have Jimmy back. So I'm going to invite Jimmy back in here and say, Jimmy, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. I have made an adjustment to my technical plan. I have
it's doing it less, but kind of, which I'm okay with. I think it's actually kind of hilarious. And if people can live with it, then so can I. All right, you brought up Richard Young.
By the way, I hear you. Just everything's working good on my end in terms of hearing you. And I'm in a place where I'm often recording near the house. So I don't know. You know, there's a tropical disturbance or something just off the coast down here. Let's blame it on that.
God, I could use a tropical disturbance. I was just thinking, I'm so tired. I've just been driving all over the place. I was like at Orange Beach, and had kids climbing all over me. Then I drive my daughter to Bowling Green, drive back to Birmingham, drive to work both days, and I'm just exhausted. And it's so hot outside. It's just like when you get outside, it's like Mother Nature just hitting you with like a really hot shovel just over the head over and over again. And so I was just thinking, man, I could use a tropical disturbance right here in mid-Alabama. But all right, Jimmy, you mentioned Richard Young.
Yep.
I think Steve Wiltfong dropped a Fong bomb, as they say, and basically said, look, I think he's going to be committing relatively soon, and I think it'll be Alabama. You still feel very good about him?
But I'll admit I feel less good than I did. I mean, I would say a month ago, Luke, I almost adamant that Richard Young would end up at Alabama. I put in an RPM 3, and I only do that when I feel really good about the situation. At the time I did, I don't even think nervous is right. I do think that there has been a orchard in Oregon, but in the end, I think it's another one of like when it comes to decision, Alabama is closer to home. They're in the SEC. I think he's wanted to go to Alabama. Oregon is such a ginormous change of plans. Not to the hell league they're in. That would be how I would negative recruit them, by the way. Like, Richard, ask them if they're in the Pac-10 or the Pac-12 or the Pac-8 or the Mountain West. Ask them, because we don't even know. I assume they know, right? So I think it's going to be Alabama. I would sounds good to me.
Yeah, I think we would all take that. And I think that's a great recruiting pitch. Frankly, I think that's a good recruiting pitch, even against USC and UCLA. I mean, hey, do you want – yeah, they're going to be – first of all, they're going to be in they're sort of dead weight in this soon-to-be defunct conference. And then in a couple of years, that's going to be a lot of fun for you to go to Columbus, Ohio one weekend and New Jersey the next weekend. That's going to be a ton of fun. Now, when do you think you'll work in any academics? You probably won't have time. The whole time you'll be moving back and forth. That's just maybe that's a shot in the dark, but that's just something I thought about. So
I would start out with so many of those kids have never even been on an airplane. So many of them have never even been on an airplane. And you say, oh, you must love to fly. Enjoy. And, they wouldn't know anybody. Enjoy the all from LA to New Jersey. Enjoy it.
Well, that's what.
Yeah, we're going to be
Saban won't even
pizza party and the Madden, and you're going to be on a plane, white knuckling the stewardess if she has more peanuts.
Nick Saban won't even bring like a videotape of, hey, these are the defensive sets we run. These are the offensive sets we run. He's just going to bring a tape of, the Hindenburg. Is this what you want? All right, let me tell everybody about Built Bar. From the people who invented healthy and tasty comes the latest gift to your taste buds. You've probably tried the amazing coconut brownie chunk Built Bar, but guess what? Your friends at Built have given the coconut brownie chunk the puff treatment. That's right, the coconut brownie chunk Built Bar flavor you love in a deliciously chewy, marshmallowy, covered in 100% real chocolatey thing. It's like the fluffy cloud of coconut brownie goodness. Just look, stop drooling right now. I'm telling you, it's awesome. They are too good to pass up. You need to go check them out. Low calorie, low sugar, high protein, and all delicious. Coconut brownie chunk puffs are only here for a limited time, so you ain't got time to waste. Finish this podcast, then you want to go check out Built.com. Go to Built.com, use promo code LOCK15, get 15% off your order. That's Built.com. Use promo code LOCK15, 15% off your order at Built.com. Jimmy, any other recruiting nuggets out there? I know you've been, in the pavement. You and your buddy Joseph Hastings at On 3 have really been, been boots on the ground trying to find out some more recruiting info because it's coming in hot and heavy. I mean, like big time recruit. I looked at it like there's a boatload of the top 20 in the state of Alabama already committed. And I know you say this all the time, and I know it's Locked on Bama, but that's why if I were an Auburn fan, I'd be concerned because of the top 20, Auburn's got 2, maybe 3, depending on which service you look at, and they don't really have much of a shot at some of the rest of them that are left. It's just wild that this whole thing may be wrapped up by the summer when it comes to top 20 for Alabama.
Has Stanton Ramil even committed to Auburn?
No, he's in fact, they think he's leaning to Tennessee right now.
Good Lord. I'm anti-panic. You can say glass half full. I tend to say on facts. But hey, Auburn, go ahead and leap off the building. I mean, you have facts behind. Yeah, this just isn't worth it anymore. I mean, it's a disaster. The disaster coming. Hey, this. I'm not surprised in the least. This is the end result. And the president of Auburn saying we're investigating our country for doing what? Year. And this is the logical end result of that complete disaster. Even when Alabama, Luke, heavily sanctioned, and it was going to keep out Alabama from having sanctions were too severe. Alabama did better than this. I mean, Alabama. It's a real mess over there, and for Alabama fans that want to whoop class, good Lord, you ought to be shackled to if you want to know what bad looks like.
Yeah, I mean it's a thing, man. And this year in the state is crazy good. And look, hey, Alabama's not even immune to it. I mean, obviously we missed out on Peter Woods. Call it what you want to. We didn't get Christopher Vazina. I mean, we didn't push for him. So, but I'm saying there are a lot to Marion Parker. There are a lot of AJ Harris, a lot of great players in this state that are leaving the state. And look
at this, Luke. The guys in state that Alabama may not get, the ones that the fans not get why, we're stressing over Kelby Collins, stressing over Quay Russaw, James Smith, maybe Hunter Osborne might be an Alabama target. Those kids are going to Auburn. They may not sign with Alabama, but they're not going to Auburn. No, we might lose them to Auburn. No, they ain't going to Auburn. They might not be at Alabama, Auburn. So I'm not even sure what in-state guys are left. They could get a little lucky with some senior year. Some kids just emerge late, comes on after their 12th grade season starts, and boom, now that Auburn may end up with a couple of those kids simply because.
Yep, that's right. It's just it's recruiting's just being pushed back and pushed back and pushed back, and yeah, it wouldn't be a show unless your thumb were in the way of the camera there for a second. So I appreciate you working that in right here towards the end.
I had to shift. It was a car situation here.
All right. Well, we're going to call it an episode for today. Thank you guys for tuning in. We appreciate you so much. We've had a lot of new followers recently, and you guys are just the best. Man, really do appreciate you a ton. Check back with us tomorrow. There'll probably be some kind of news. Go ahead, Jimmy.
A couple things I'm going to dig into Richard Young and whether that was something we learned today, and it was a bit of a surprise. So good answer for you tomorrow on whether there's literally going to be an announcement of some kind. He's so big time. I'm going to tweet out. I would think he would have a big announcement. I would look for that. We're still in Perkins. He is yet to flip to Alabama. It is the on-3 projection that he will. Timetable on that. We're just saying we think this is going to happen. July 23rd, one of the very elite prospects in Florida could play a lot like Quay saw in the south side. Really interesting linebacker prospect. He's going to announce. Used to be an Alabama-Florida thing. Now looks like another Alabama-Miami thing. Hey, I think we're cool with him just going to Miami. Now, I think Alabama would really like to have Malik Bryant.
All right, buddy. We will talk tomorrow. Until then, roll tide.
Roll